Welcome to the South Pod. It's your boy Corey. This is one of our off-season episodes talking about free agency and what's going on in the NFL, particularly with the NFL South. I got the usual suspects with me, my crew. Got my boy Telly. I got my boy Rich. And we got a late bloomer. Big Will decided to join us today. I guess he could put us in his schedule, to talk about some things that's going on.
What's good? What's good?
All right. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into it, man. It's a lot of quarterback noise as usual going on that's overshadowing, you know, some of the top draft picks that's coming into the league. That's all they seem to ever talk about. So I guess we're gonna do right and lead off with the quarterback. We're gonna stick with our division. Telly, what's going on with the Falcons? Should they hold on to Cousins?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all saw in the news he was talking about he's talked about keeping his trade clause locked in until after the draft, but I'm not sure if that's rumor mill or actually Kirk Cousins talking. So I'm just going to speak from the organization perspective. Yeah, we set ourselves up with this goddamn contract, and we got to deal with it. No one saw that he would have a fall off like he did. So we can take all the criticism as possible. But my thoughts is, like I said earlier, I think the last time we talked about this, we can hold on to him for now until someone offers up, in my opinion, more draft capital for him. We're gonna carry some of that contract, but not everything will free up some money to do some stuff with. But I'm more interested in getting us a couple more draft picks because we don't have enough draft picks this year, in my opinion. So right now, with Russell choosing to go to the Giants, Aaron is still in the dark. I think that we kind of holding a pretty good card for those teams that don't have a quarterback to start the season out with. And right now, Pittsburgh is in that space and Cleveland is in that space. So, and they both got pretty decent draft capital. So, I think holding on to him right now is a good idea for us to see what we can get back. If we can't get anything back, we do need a backup. So, Penix could have some problems and whatever, and Kirk might have to prove himself then. So, we'll see.
Rich, he just mentioned holding on to him and being Penix's backup. Do you think that's a good move? You don't think Penix gonna be looking over his shoulder?
I mean, I think Penix will be looking over his shoulder because he has something to prove in Atlanta. But I also think that, Atlanta shot themselves in the foot by giving Kirk Cousins that contract. So they kind of have no choice but to actually keep Kirk Cousins. And if you look at it, it depends on, what Kirk Cousins you get. It may not actually seem like a bad move right now. But you don't know what you're actually going to get until, you put on those pads, you put on that helmet, and you get on that field and you see what you're actually going to do or therefore actually not do on that field. And that's been a question mark, pretty much the majority of the season last year, with Kirk Cousins. I mean, he had his moments, and then it's like, damn, how does this guy even made an NFL roster? But, I think right now Atlanta's kind of stuck with him. With the quarterbacks that's already been taken off the board as far as free agency, the best thing for them to do is to hold on to Cousins because there's no certainty with the drafts and who you'll be able to get. So, yeah, I think they should hold on to him for right now.
What's your take on it, Will?
Oh man, I mean, looking at it, I think definitely hold on to Cousins. Not because as a backup, I think that he can either be a valuable trade asset for them during the draft process or at the trade deadline in October. I think that's the way they view it. I think he holds more significant value there. I know they have their third quarterback is Emory. Yeah, I mean they're going to obviously go with another veteran option. I think during camp. I foresee that if the draft process falls the way we think it is, and that's obviously if the Giants do take Shador. If they don't, does Pittsburgh move up? If Pittsburgh doesn't move up, is it Aaron Rodgers? Is it Kirk Cousins? And I think those are the only viable options there. But I think Cousins have a tremendous amount of trade value. I think that could come in effect during camp if a quarterback's hurt. that could come in effect again in the regular season. It just depends on what the situation is. I don't think they look at Kirk Cousins as their starter. I think at this point, it's Penix, and that's it. I don't think Penix will be looking over his shoulder. I mean, he came and took the job. I don't think they look at him as a backup. I think he's a luxury at this point.
Yeah, but did Penix really take the job, or did Kirk give it to him? You know.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I was going to say.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I agree. You know, Kirk is a valuable weapon to have right now. I don't understand why there's such an attraction to him, but he's a valuable weapon for the Falcons to have. But speaking of weapons, Carolina ended the season pretty strong last year. You know, Bryce was looking good, got benched at the beginning of the season, then, you know, regained his composure. I like that about him. And he came back and he went out swinging, you know, so there's a lot of excitement, you know, for Carolina. I even heard on the speak, they were talking about Carolina might contend with us for the NFC South. I was like, oh, so they just going to jump over Atlanta. But in order to do that, they're going to need weapons. So what's the best weapon that Bryce should go after? The Carolina Panthers should go after for him, Telly?
You know, man, you asked me or Telly?
I said Telly.
Oh, go ahead.
And you were ready to talk that trash, wasn't you?
He was ready. Telly.
Boy, ready. Already
ready, boy. Oh, Carolina.
See my car. Look, I'm ready for the haters to spray y'all asses off. I'm ready.
Go ahead, Rich.
Go, Telly. I'm a gentleman.
No.
Go ahead.
No, man. No. Go ahead, Rich.
The floor is yours.
You know what I was about to say, man. You know, obviously we do need some weapons in Carolina, man. You know, we thought drafting, you know, Xavier Legette was actually going to open things up down the field, and he had, you know, a decent rookie year. We thought Jonathan Brooks coming back off, you know, the ACL tear, he was going to actually be good, and then he tore it again. So definitely, man, we need some pieces to put around him to actually be able to actually move that ball down the field. But when you look at our roster, man, we just have a bunch of, you know, blue collar workers when you look at the wide receivers. And I don't know how we can leverage any of our picks to try to go after somebody. So it's going to be very difficult. And I think the key thing that we did do is keep the tight end Trimble, you know, giving him an actually contract extension. And, you know, that's a safety outlet for, you know, young quarterbacks to be able to actually come into their own until they really learn that system. But we need a lot of help, man. So I don't know if we're able to get some of the wide receivers that may fall later on in the draft. I would love to try to get, you know, a Isaiah Bond for Texas. But I'm not sure if that would be able to happen or not. I think it'd be gone off the board. But we definitely need somebody. We definitely need some more complementary receivers to go with, you know, Xavier Legette, you know, Trimble. And if Thielen come back, I haven't even really saw his contract or what's going on with him. But we definitely need some help.
Yeah, I think Thielen signed a new deal, well, an extension or something. But I was curious as to why, you know, there's a lot of receivers out there on the market. You know, a lot of vet receivers. Keenan Allen is still out there. Who else? Odell out there. It's a couple of Diggs just signed with the Patriots, but I was curious as to why they didn't give him another receiver, because Thielen, come on, that's
he's aging, man.
Yeah, but what you think, Telly?
Yeah,
Telly, what you think?
I agree. I've been watching, you know, what y'all been doing. Obviously, you've been addressing the O-line, picking up some defensive pieces to add to your secondary and some across your line. So, same way, Corey. I'm wondering, like, who's he throwing the ball to, and you can't hope to get all that out of the draft. So, I mean, Mari Cooper is not what he used to be, but Mari Cooper has tracks. So he has 1 year where he really don't wow anybody, and then the next year he's like some stud. So I see for him, last year in Buffalo, he didn't do as much as I thought he would do in Buffalo. So I think it's probably a cheap pickup for y'all. Give him a 1 year deal with an incentive and bring him in on the other side, because what he still can do, he still can get open. So I think that's a good option for you. And then you find somebody in the draft to pick up maybe a second rounder or whatever, pick up a wide receiver and have him learn under Thielen and Cooper. That's not a bad, two bad people for a good wide receiver to learn from.
Yeah.
Because they're both level-headed. They're gonna be fine in the locker room. They're not gonna cause any issues. But y'all do need some help in that department. So yeah, I agree. Wide receiver will be my target for y'all.
Right. Big Will. What weapons do you think Bryce needs in order to be relevant?
I
They ain't
mean,
contending.
man, it's tough. They got a lot of needs, man, especially on defense. And I think being at the 8th position, you're going to have some pass rushers there, man. And I think being that they moved on from Brian Burns, I don't think you can pass up on the pass rushers that's there to go wide receiver again. They got 2 young guys in Leggett and Coker. You got the veteran in Thielen, but obviously he's been hurt. He got to stay healthy. I'm kind of with y'all. I think you go to the free agent market. You look to get depth there. You go receiver maybe in the 2nd round. But at some point they got to pay attention to their defense. Their defense is going to help their offense a lot more. I like what I saw from them offensively in the latter part of the year. I think they're a team that can move the ball up the field. I think they like what they got. I like what they got. I think they can always add more offensively, but the defense is a problem. Their defense, I love the scheme. I love their coach. I love the scheme. I just think they definitely need guys to get after the quarterback. And I don't think at 8 you can pass up on the guys that's going to be sitting right there.
Yeah.
I don't think you can pass the kids out of Georgia, one of the guys out of Georgia, the guy out of Texas, the guys out of Marshall. It's just too many dogs right there at 8, and you can't go wide receiver. And everybody likes the receiver out of Arizona, but I'm not that high on him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Will, about that.
So I definitely think you got to go on them edge rushers, man, at 8.
See, that's my thing. I agree with everything you said. We signed Hassan Reddick, Buccaneers. At edge. We all got a need at edge. Telling them just picked up. They signed the edge as well. Was it Dante Fowler? What the Falcons did? So Carolina, if you go with edge, because that's the trend, they're a hot commodity. Why didn't you take one of these big name free agent receivers? It's strange to me. I don't know what they're thinking over there, but hey, I love it. If the offense is gonna stay the way it is, keep doing you, Panthers.
No, yeah, man. This, Big Will actually summarized it pretty well, man. We have to address those defensive needs. We picked up some pieces, as far as defensive tackles, a compliment. Brown, hopefully he's coming back and he's healthy to go. But you can't pass up on, some of these, potential big edge rushers coming out of college, and there's a lot. That's one reason why we signed, some of the wide receivers like David Moore and gave them extensions, 1 and 2 year extensions to kind of keep them around. And that's why we got Rico Dowdle too, to sew up that backfield a little bit, because, with Jonathan Brooks tearing his ACL again, we had to address that need as well. But there's so many holes, on this team. It's kind of hard to say, what can we do, with these 8-9 draft picks. And how can we attack free agency vigilantly and get what we need? And I think thus far they did, a decent job with free agency, addressing a lot of stuff on the defensive end. So I'm looking forward to seeing this defense play next year. But we all know, man, the defense wins championship, offense sell tickets. And I ain't going to the game to watch a fucking 6-3 game. So
and I would say too, man, you got 2 tight ends out there in Warren and Lovell. I mean, 8's a nice spot to be at. It's gonna be something because of the way the quarterbacks are falling. It's gonna be somebody in that top 5 in terms of talent that's gonna fall down into that 8th slot that probably shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Because if Shedeur is indeed drafted at 3, a player is going to fall that shouldn't be at that particular position.
I hear you. So basically what we're saying is Carolina's offense is going to continue to be in the dark. And speaking of darkness, and keeping with the tradition of talking about quarterbacks, we're going to switch over to the other guy who just loves to go fade to black and go into the darkness in the offseason and have everybody waiting on him. It's your boy Aaron Rodgers. That boy's a bad man, but he ain't been bad lately. So with Rodgers still being on the market, what's a good fit for him? Kelly.
I honestly, I think that the best fit is team retirement. To be honest with you,
What? A 1-day contract,
a
just like that.
1 day contract with the couch, baby. That's what he's doing. He can stay in the dark. He can stay in the light. He can walk around naked in his backyard. Whatever you want to do, that's gonna float his boat. That make him feel great, man. But yeah, I don't think he's interested. To be honest with you, because what he probably wanted to go, which was Minnesota, they didn't do that. So I don't think he's interested in going to the Steelers to be in Arthur Smith's offense. I don't know who wants to be in that offense. Russell didn't even want to be there. He left, went to New York. That's trash. And so yeah, I don't know, man. It's only 2 places left for him, really, and neither one of those places are attractive to anybody at this point. So I think team retirement is his best spot.
But you saying retirement, so you basically saying A-Rod should wait because nobody really knows what's going on with him as usual. He ain't said nothing. I ain't heard him do not one interview. Everybody just speculating.
Well, he went to Pittsburgh and had the conversation with Pittsburgh. Right. And everybody thought that it was going to be a kind of done deal. I didn't, because everybody focused on Mike Tomlin, but Aaron Rodgers, he's an offensive coordinator type of vibe guy, right? He got weapons, he got running back, he got defense, he got all those things. Right. But I don't think him and Arthur Smith will ever vibe from an offensive perspective, because Aaron he's just not gonna drop back and hand the ball off. He's trying to sling the rock, and that offense is not set up for that. So I can't see him there, man.
Not only him and Arthur Smith vibing, I don't see him in the team, period. Cam Hayward, like, hey, you either want to be with us or you don't, man. We ain't got time. They too veteran savvy with the Steelers and Mike T. I mean, I don't know. What you think, Rich?
You know what, man? It's a mystery. I thought, for a while, until the Vikings spoke out, that it could potentially go to Minnesota. And it still could actually happen. But Aaron Rodgers is not taking a back seat to J.J. McCarthy and going to ride that bench. He'd rather actually get a start until, they force him out of that. So it's kind of crazy, man, to see what he's actually going to do. And I also think about, it's like, damn, man, what team could actually use Aaron Rodgers? Because I still think he can play a little bit. But what team could actually use him and actually mentor some young guys? And, the first team that came to mind, I thought about is that damn mess in Indianapolis. You got Daniel Jones and my little cousin, Anthony Richardson. Like, oh no! Look, those are your quarterbacks. Those are your quarterbacks, man. And I don't know how you reasonably expect to win games. I think they'll win some games, but I don't know how you expect to make a deep run when that's your 1 and 2 quarterback. So maybe just out of the blue, maybe you're saying those guys, Will shaking his head. He gets something done with Indianapolis. I don't know, but I still think some way, somehow, he'll end up on Minnesota.
Will, should the Vikings pursue Rodgers?
No, I mean I'm with the latter. I mean, if you Wiseman once said, if you're thinking about retirement, you already retired. I mean, you at this point, it's retirement. I mean, the dude don't have much. I just saw something recently where the Vikings said that they're willing to reopen. They want J.J. McCarthy to be their starter, but they haven't completely X'd out Aaron Rodgers coming there. And my whole thing is, it's like you said, I'm with Cam Hayward. The program sells itself, with the Steelers. You know what you're getting. You know you're going to have some consistency. You know you got a strong defense behind you. You're going to get the coaching. It's not hard. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers truly wanted to be in Pittsburgh, that's where he would be. Clearly, he don't want to be in Pittsburgh. And if I'm the players on the team, I'm just like we ain't good enough. Like, for real, like, I don't want you. So my whole thing with Aaron Rodgers, he still clearly is who he is. Hence why I wouldn't want him around me. He need to be humble. You're cheeks at this particular junction in your career. You done went and destroyed a franchise over in New York. And crazy enough, clearly the Giants didn't even want to pay that man. They took Russ. They took Jameis Winston. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Pittsburgh's in a desperate situation. Dayball's in a desperate situation. So again, if he was worth it, why not pay the man the money that they paid Russell Wilson?
Let Will cook, man.
You said my man Cheeks.
Cheeky.
We talking about Aaron Rodgers. We talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Man, that man done.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers, one of the top. Would y'all say he top 10 all-time quarterback?
Yeah. Look at this comment. I want to hear Will. What you got to say about that comment?
My brother's smoking.
I'm gonna tell you something, man.
No, talk about it.
People forget how bad Peyton Manning was his last year in Denver. It was nightmarish. And I hated to see it. Aaron need to go and let it go, man. Go and let it go.
Hey, Will, I don't know why you brought that up, man. I just actually struck up my PTSD because they beat us in the Super Bowl, and that's the worst shit you could have said to me.
It wasn't him that did it.
Hey, welcome, Ivory.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Who we got here, Rich? You got special guests popping up.
Yeah, one of my coworkers, man, Ivory. So Ivory and I made a bet that he told me that Will Howard would get drafted before Shedeur Sanders. So I was like, what?
Oh no.
But Ivory has a lot of football knowledge, man. We talk a lot of sports in the office when we're not actually engaged in work. I told him it'd be a good opportunity, man, to get on the show, discuss some of the things that we talk about at the office, and actually listen, to us, talk about our teams, and just kind of get different inputs and different feels from outsiders. So,
all right.
Good evening, gentlemen. So I basically said it like this. I don't discount the fact that Shedeur has talent. What I think is going to cause him his problem is his ego and his attitude. But I think they're going, looking at it, it's like if you're going to come out, it's a job application. All the other quarterbacks, they put up their best. The only thing we've seen with Shedeur is his tape, which has not been good. And the only reason he has the numbers that he had was because of Travis Hunter. That's it. So I say this, and looking at it, because the NFL is the ultimate level, and it's all about return on investment. I say, based on what I'm seeing and based on my opinion, I think they'll draft someone safe, Will Howard, and then let Shedeur drop.
I got a question for you then. Okay. My question to you is,
that's crazy.
If you take Shedeur and Jackson Dart and swap them, put Shedeur at Ole Miss and Jackson Dart at Colorado, will we be saying the same thing? He operating behind an SEC line, vice a portal line. He's operating behind an SEC line. The receiving core is way better. The offense is way better. He running under Lane Kiffin. Are we saying the same thing?
That's a great point you put up.
Oh no!
I don't, based on the support system around him, he should have better numbers. And I would think he would do better. But at the same time, being in Colorado, it was a portal line, yes. And he played for his dad. And it is one thing to be playing for your dad who's a coach, then another, then playing for somebody who just looks at you as a tool in the toolkit, if you know what I'm saying.
Man, I gotta say something, man. This is crazy. This is satire. This is disrespectful. This is buffoonery. This is insane. I heard LaShawn McCoy say something this week. and I agree with it so much. He said he had a chance to go to to go to Alabama. He could have went to Alabama when they had Julio, all these guys, Amari. He could have just balled out, but he chose Pitt. And he said because he chose Pitt, and he didn't play with all these guys that you can name. You know, you got Mac Jones out there throwing balls to Devonta Smith. All you got everybody in the backfield, and everybody thinking Mac Jones was the answer. Hell, I watched Ken Dorsey throw the ball to Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss, and Jeremy Shockey. And everybody was telling me Ken Dorsey was the answer. I said, shit, I could have turned around and handed the ball off to Frank Gore and Willis McGahee. I mean, hell, I'm telling you right now, the worst thing that can happen in this draft is letting Shedeur fall. I'm telling you right now, that kid is the prime example of a player that played with nothing around him. Everything around him, and people forget, he was recruited D1 before he even went to Jackson State, before his dad even became a coach. He had a scholarship to South Carolina, full ride, that he accepted prior to his dad becoming the coach at Jackson State. He is a force multiplier. When you go to one program and you make them relevant in the SWAC, then you turn around, you come to Colorado, who was a Power 5 school who didn't win no games. And all of a sudden they're relevant because you bring in a quarterback. Clearly, he's doing something right. It ain't because his dad's the coach. It's because the dude can actually play. Now, your daddy can be a coach all he wants to. That don't mean you can play football. The kid can play. Like, I ain't got nothing against Cam Ward. I know for a fact Shedeur is going to be a better quarterback than him. I know it.
I don't disagree with that. What is just so off-putting for me is his attitude and his arrogance. It's one thing to have a talent, but if you have the bad attitude, it don't equal anything.
Why does every time somebody talk about Shedeur, it's everything that's not football related? What's wrong with a quarterback? It's okay for a receiver to be arrogant. I heard Cam Ward say at his pro day, like, I'm solidifying myself as the number one player. But ain't nobody talking about that. I mean, so he can't have confidence in the work that he put in. He can't have confidence that he's a dog. He got to be quiet about it. Man, Baker Mayfield was flicking everybody off, grabbing his nuts. It wasn't no problem when he was doing it. Johnny Manziel was out here snorting coke. It wasn't no problem when he was doing it. But when it's doing, it's a problem. You got Johnny Manziel out here all on booger sugar. You got Manziel grabbing his ball sack all on national TV. But it ain't a problem because he still went number one. Man, get out of here. Come on now. We gotta talk about it. It ain't about him playing quarterback. It's about something else. It ain't about him being a quarterback. It's about something else.
Big Will, I don't discount that, but I'm gonna say this. I said real killers don't talk. Real killers walk in silence. So
hey, y'all just told Baker Mayfield to shut up then.
I would have did the same thing. That's all I'm saying. I would have did the same thing.
We're gonna stop the Baker slander right now. No.
That's all I'm saying.
We all good. Carry on. I'm just saying, like, you came in here with a wild take. For a moment, I thought you might have went to school with Dion and he burnt you and you were bitter, but after talking, you really believe that. That's pretty interesting. I respect all opinions. Wow, that was out there.
Not me.
Let's go, Telly. I know he wait.
Oh man, I'm just laughing, man. I'll say one quick thing about this is I think the media gets involved in a lot of stuff for a lot of reasons. So all of a sudden, the media has been downplaying this man for reasons like our general manager Ivory over there has been talking about, about his attitude and his this and that. But we all know what it is. They don't like his daddy. They ain't like his daddy when he was in, but couldn't do nothing about it. He showboated, did all his things, especially back in the day when showboat wasn't a thing. Dion was doing it all day and dared somebody to do something about it. They couldn't do anything about it. So now they're going to try to take it out on his son because some of them same jokers has been sitting around since his daddy played in the league. They're just waiting to take a shot at this young man. But all he's doing is helping him out because Cam Ward may go number one to Tennessee. That's a hot dumpster fire, as Will would call it sometime down there, right? So why would you want to, like, for me, yeah, I get it. It's prestige going number one overall, but I want to go to a team that's pretty solid. that only missing maybe me as a quarterback. And I gotta agree, that young fella can play ball, and he's gonna show everybody else. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know where you coming from, Mr. Ivory, but whatever it is, man, maybe you need to get on Shannon's show, and he can talk to you like you talked to doggone, what's that boy name he talked to that thought he could compare himself to Sanders?
Oh, Asante.
Asante, yeah. I'm gonna
He's
start
not
calling him
prime.
Asante.
He's not prime.
He is not prime.
Hey, but definitely, like, speaking of Shador, man, he does walk around like a giant, but at least he ain't no giant disaster. And speaking of disasters, what's going on in New York? Fellas, how y'all feeling about Jameis signing with the Giants? What does that say? Go ahead, Artelli.
I was okay with Jameis being signed. So I said, Jameis ain't gonna cause no conflict. He gonna be in there praying for everybody. He gonna have a speech for everything. He
TV.
Right. He go, and so you in New York, you bring a loud mouth to New York, dude. Like you said, must see TV. The ratings gonna go through the roof because people just want to see what Jameis gonna say, right? So I thought it was a good setup if you were to draft Shador in New York, but then they go and sign Russell, and that had me scratching my head. Like, I still can't really figure that piece out because they're both on 1-year contracts. So you're gonna have, it's gonna be the holiest locker room probably out there because you got, you got Pastor Jameis, and you're gonna have Deacon Russ at the helm. So they're gonna have church every day before the game. And I was saying nothing wrong with that. We all need Jesus a little bit in our lives. But my goodness, man, I just don't know what that tandem is supposed to do. And now I'm like really scratching my head. It's Giants is trying to throw it. So if they only win, say, 5-6 games, they're going to be in the top 5-6 next year in the draft, which we understand that there's going to be a couple better quarterbacks coming out next year than they have in the draft this year, or at least projected to be anyway. So I don't know what they're doing.
So you're saying draft for the future, not draft in the future, not for the future, for a quarterback. Yeah. That's basically what you're saying. But Rich, what is the front office and the coaching staff saying? They on the hot seat. The owner already been in there saying, hey, enough is enough. So you go out and you sign Russell Wilson and you sign Jameis Winston, and you got DeVito as your backup or whatever. So I'm thinking a 5-win season. Like, how does that save the job?
You know what I mean, man? It's a head scratcher for sure. And so I went online to actually see when Sierra was actually doing her next tour and how many of those visits were going to be actually in New York. So they're trying to sell tickets both ways, man. So that's the only thing that made sense to me. Like Telly said, man, you give two guys 1-year deals, and Russ, in my opinion, is not worth $10 million for 1 year for that organization. So I truly don't understand what they're trying to do. But with that actually move, what does that actually say for what we just talked about with Shador Sanders and all these other quarterbacks that's actually coming up in the draft? Does that mean that Shador may potentially fall, or do they still go after Shador Sanders, knowing that, he has to get that guaranteed money for that rookie contract? So I'm actually confused, man, what the front office is actually doing. Daboll obviously don't want his job. And that general manager, they don't want their job. That made no sense to me. Although we don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes, but that's still a head scratcher, man. And I can't make, nothing makes sense to me, man, as far as what the Giants were thinking with drafting with actually picking up Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. Like Telly said, I was good when they got Jameis, with the idea that they're going to go after one of these, quarterbacks that we talked about, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, or even Jackson Dart. But I'm scratching my head, man, because it doesn't make any sense to me, and I really don't know what to say.
Hey, they got, they said when you got two quarterbacks, you got none. So with that being said, should they draft a quarterback? Big Will.
The Giants are an incompetent franchise. I mean, I always tell people, I've had the opportunity to work with football clubs at every level. And people think a lot of times that fans are stupid and that maybe you have to be really smart to be a GM and work in these particular positions. And you really don't have to be. Some shit just don't make sense. I mean, when you watch Hard Knocks last year, you look at what they said about Saquon, and then you got people in the room looking at each other like, dog, is we serious right now? And Joe Shane is not a smart person. I mean, this franchise is committing malpractice each and every day. I mean, they're going to go in the draft, and I'm going to tell you what they're going to do because they're not smart. They're more than likely are not going to draft Shedeur because they believe that they're going to probably be in position to take the Manning kid, or he's going to force his way there, but they probably won't be in position to get him, or something crazy. And this is a franchise that's incredibly desperate. So I'm just not understanding what they're doing. Like you said, if you got two quarterbacks, you ain't got none. Going into this season with Russell Wilson, clearly can't play in cold weather. I mean, this is just malpractice. I mean, I feel sorry for Malik Neighbors, to be honest with you. They're trying to throw the season, and they're probably going to throw Jameis Winston in there come November, December. And once Russ plays like ass in the wintertime, and they go to Jameis, and Jameis throws 85 picks, and he gives 14 points to the offense, to the defense on the other team, you know, this is what it is. So they're not going to draft Shedeur. They're going to go and get, Tyler Warren or just do something stupid, draft a D tackle. And this is just who they are. If they had any sense, they would go get Shedeur, put butts in the seats, and build around that. But they're probably not going to do it because Joe Shane is stupid.
Yeah, speaking of Shedeur and draft picks, drafting a quarterback, Cam Ward had his workout recently. Did he improve his stock? What you think, Rich?
Honestly, I don't know. I didn't actually pay attention.
What?
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to his actually workout at all, man. So I can't actually even give you any input about it. Based off what I saw.
Go ahead, Tilly. I muted his mic. Tilly, I muted his mic. Go ahead.
So you don't want to hear no more?
No, I don't want to hear.
No, I don't think he improved his stock, man. I think we all know, we all know what he is, right? He has arm talent. He has this. He looks this. He looks that. But this guy has been to 3 different programs in 3 years in college. And what did he really do? I mean, his last year with Miami was decent, but I don't really think he improved his draft stock anymore. I think they already know who he is. It's fine for him to go to Tennessee because all the talking heads on Monday and stuff been pushing him there. So, but no, I don't really think he did anything to. And for my opinion, he didn't wow me. He never. Throughout the season, he didn't wow me. So I'm not sure why all the hype is about the young man.
Jump in there. What's his name? Ivory Coast. What you think?
I kind of agree with Rich there. I mean, I think he's.
Hey man, you ain't gotta say that because y'all work together, dog. You ain't gotta say that because y'all work together.
No, I'm being real because like.
He need help, Tilly. He need a teammate.
I think Cam Ward as his stock is where it's at. Is where it's at. I share your concern. He's played at 3 different programs, and that's 3 different offensive schemes. So now you're going to a level where you have to be a master of one. Can he do that? And that's the question. Yeah, he had a decent season at the U, but looking over the trend, that gives me concern. So he's where he's going to be.
Well, it sounds like everybody is doubtful that he has his ceiling is going to go even higher. So with that point being made, and his resume given Shedeur's resume, Big Wheel, why is Cam Ward being projected as the number 1 pick? Explain that to me.
I mean, it's just like Brother Ivory talked about. It's a matter of preference when it comes to these quarterbacks. I think that's really what it is, because when you look at the players, ask yourself, what's really the gap between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders? What's the gap? I mean, what do we really talk about? Neither one of them won shit. I mean, they ain't like they went out, won a national title, won a playoff. I mean, Cam Ward played like ass, and you know, and
not cheeks, not cheeks.
You know, I'm not understanding what's the difference. It's a matter of preference. Shedeur could very well be one. Cam Ward could be one. It's just, but again, I'm with what Telly said. Who the hell would want to play in Tennessee? I mean, honestly, man, just send me 30, 31. For real. I mean, I would not want to be there. Who is you throwing the ball to? Westbrook? I don't know who they got. I mean, Pollard?
They traded him.
I don't know what's going on. So, I mean, bro, I wouldn't even want to go one, because none of that matters anymore. None of that matters anymore. We don't hold quarterbacks to the standard of, hey, this guy won a national championship. This dude won a Heisman. This dude's a guy. What's really the gap between him and Shedeur? It's a matter of preference. So, I mean, did he help his stock? Man, hell, to me, he hurt it. He made the Zach Wilson throw. I'm tired of seeing that shit. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of these motherfuckers rolling left, throwing right. I mean, when you start doing that, you trying to impress me a little too much, bitch. We know you can throw. We can watch tape. So he trash. He'll be another Will Levis. Kenny Pickett.
Another Will Levis. Hey,
trash.
It's definitely going to be interesting if Tennessee does decide to go with Cam Ward, having Levis there and him also.
I take the kid out of New England, the Milton. Give me
Milton.
him.
Joe Milton III.
He's been getting a lot of buzz too.
Give me some ceiling.
The underground webs. He's been getting a lot of buzz, but like
I would take him at Pittsburgh. I would take Milton at Pittsburgh before I do Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, you're a Steelers fan?
Yes. In college, I played for the University of Memphis. So my red shirt freshman year, Mike Tomlin was my coach. He was actually a GA at the time, and he spent there a year. Keith Butler, the longtime defensive coordinator, he was the linebackers coach. So I played with both of them.
And you got all this football knowledge, and you come out with Shedeur is trash.
Yeah, I was like, that's a resume you should have hit, bro. Because now I'm about to come in off the top rope on you, boys.
Hey, he led with Shedeur's cheeks. Hey. He led with Shedeur's cheeks, and he don't like his attitude.
I mean, it is
his resume.
It is Memphis.
I think Rich set you up, man. He told you to come in here saying that crazy stuff, man.
That was
absolutely not.
That was clickbait. It's gotta be clickbait. We gotta roll that. That's gonna get us many views. Many views, boy. But speaking of rolling, hey, let's do a quick take. I'm gonna say ask your question. It's either yes or no. And here it is. Diggs to the Pats. Does it move the needle? Big Will.
Hell no. Shit. What?
Kelly, does it move the needle?
In the wrong direction.
Rich, y'all needed a receiver, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Does it move the needle?
Slightly.
Spoken like a guy who needs a receiver. Ivory, y'all good with Metcalf and old boy Pickens. So, hey, does it move the needle? You're gonna have to see him.
Oh man, I think at this point, slightly below, because one, he's old, and now he's got a couple injuries under his book. So we'll see.
I don't know, Ivory. Your takes have been suspect ever since your resume. But we're gonna move on because you talking just like a free agent. But speaking of free agency, are there any signings that low key made a good impact on some teams? What are your thoughts on it, Rich? All right, Telly, what's your thoughts on it?
Richard ain't talking to nobody. He froze.
Oh, no. I didn't even hear.
See, your name is not Telly, bro. He called my name. You started talking. He called your name. You don't say nothing. Just look at the camera.
He must went to Memphis too.
Yeah, he did. What you got, Rich?
Yeah, they do work together, Big Will. They do work.
You say so. What free agent signing impacts? I think which yet to be seen, the Geno Smith one. I was looking at Geno Smith numbers. Hear me out, Will. Hear me out. I was looking at Geno Smith numbers, and I was just wondering why he didn't actually get a bigger contract. But looking at the Raiders situation at quarterback and looking at the last 3 years Geno had in Seattle, I think he'd be able to go there and be able to be productive and actually have another good season. So especially with Brock Bowers there, that boy is actually beast. So I think Geno is actually going to have a positive impact on a franchise that's been actually under the water for quite some time. So I think the pick with Geno going to the Raiders, I think is going to surprise some people.
But what if Shador falls to that spot and the Raiders are able to get him?
They're not going to draft him.
Dun, dun, dun.
Deion's not going to let that happen.
Kelly, your thoughts?
I think the pick, the free agency move was best for the young man and not a bad thing for the organization. And that's Justin Fields going to the Jets. You put a young quarterback who has been hungry to get a fair shot. Chicago was a bunch of BS. I thought he did pretty well and probably the better quarterback to fit in Arthur Smith's system. But for some reason, I guess they felt like they wanted to run with Russ, and he did okay for a little bit. But I think Justin Fields got something to prove now, even more so. And then you give him some decent talent on offense. You got a good running back. You got a young wide receiver, young running back. Got a coach, decent coach. I'm willing to see what Aaron Glenn's going to do this year. He a defensive-minded coach. Don't know much about their offensive coordinator just yet. But I think that gives that team something to look forward to in the next 2 years possibly. So I like that move for the Jets and for Justin Fields.
Yeah, I think Fields is going to pay dividends. He ain't got nothing to lose, no pressure, this go around. So maybe we can see a new version of Fields. I highly doubt it, but maybe anything goes. Yeah. He might be the best quarterback in New York. He
don't have to be dynamic, which is a good thing. There's no pressure on him, right? So you had an ailing Aaron Rodgers there last year, and only thing he got to do, he can throw a deep ball, he can run the ball, he got a good running back. So make the offense simple for him. He'll be all right.
What you think, Rich?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. With Justin Field going to New York, outside of the kid from Ohio State, who else is he throwing it to? Tyler Conklin. Breece Hall is a good back. Breece Hall is a good back, and the kid that they got to actually back him up, I forget his name, but outside of those guys, who are you actually passing the ball to? That's another situation where, we're talking about like, okay, you got this quarterback, but what are your weapons that you're surrounding him with so he can actually be productive? So it's going to be interesting to say. I do agree with you, Telly, that I'm glad that he did get out of Pittsburgh to give him an opportunity to show people what he could do. I thought he was done wrong in Chicago, especially what they brought in Chicago. I thought that was the ideal place for him to still be at, and I think they guys would have been thriving. But him going to the Jets is yet to be seen, man. I'm just interested to see how this is actually going to play out. Besides, hey, throw a pass to Garrett Wilson left, throw a pass to Garrett Wilson right, throw a pass to Garrett Wilson deep. I want to see what's going to happen.
But I thought Sam Darnold was supposed to be the savior going to Seattle. They done already moved up in the power rankings just, by signing Sam Darnold. Big Will, what you think about Sam Darnold coming back to the division?
I ain't about to talk about no damn Sam Darnold, man. The best free agent move was Laramie Tunsil going. How the hell did Washington get Laramie Tunsil? That's crazy. Laramie Tunsil, Godwin coming back to Tampa and not getting a bag, not going out there getting a bag is crazy. Especially when you look at what 31-year-old Diggs just got.
Yeah.
31 coming off of ACL too.
I don't believe in no discounts. And I know they don't believe in no discounts. Because I think if he'd have saw that, he'd have been going somewhere else. And Drake Greenlaw going to Denver, playing for Vance Joseph, and those are moves, man. Ronnie Stanley staying in Baltimore, those are good moves. But Laramie Tunsil for sure. I think it reminds me of when the 49ers went out and got Trent Williams for the low. Laramie Tunsil is going to be there for a very long time. Very, very, very long time. And he's young. He's proven. He's a Hall of Famer probably.
That's a weird move. That was a weird move by Houston.
Houston couldn't protect,
all
to save his life.
At all. And then you give away one of your best linemen.
He gave away the best lineman. Top 3 linemen in the league, probably. So, yeah, Laramie Tunsil for sure. And
that's like the Steelers giving away TJ Watt.
Man, it's crazy.
That's like the Steelers giving away TJ Watt. Ivory, sound like something you would recommend.
No, I wouldn't recommend that. Just to answer your question, Tunsil to Washington was a good fit. I think as an organization, they're starting to believe in Jay Daniel. I was impressed with his poise and decision making and just how he operated on the field. So I always felt that Washington line was suspect, but to give Tunsil there to kind of solidify as the anchor for that offensive line will make Washington's offense really good. And now that they added Deebo Samuels, hope this inspires Deebo Samuels to get himself together and get back to a Pro Bowl level of playing. If they can do that, Washington's going to be a team to contend with.
Man, I want to jump in real quick. I'm gonna leave you alone this time, Ivory. But the Tunsil, I expected Will to talk about defense, which you kind of sprinkled in there. But the Tunsil move, I don't see as that paying dividends for Washington, unfortunately. If you watch Tunsil, he has a lot of ability and talent, obviously, right? He's not young. He's 30 years old. That dude had a lot of penalties last year. I think he led the league in penalties last year for offensive linemen. He killed a lot of drives, man. So I don't see that as an upgrade unless they got some hell of a offensive line coach in Washington that's going to help this man kind of break out of this funk that he's in, because he hasn't done well for Houston. That's why I let him walk. He was like probably more frustrated in the fact that he's so good, but then he has so many problems at the wrong time from a player that you expected more out of for the money that he's making. So I'm surprised at you, Big Will. You let me down today, man. You let me down on that one. I was looking for something else different. But we're gonna put an asterisk next to that. No, we'll talk about during the season. I'm gonna hold this one.
I agree with you, man, 100%. And Washington defense definitely struggles, and I think they're looking to build their defense through the draft because they have so many older players on the defensive side of the rock. Clearly, going to get Buddy out of the Saints, the corner there,
Marshawn Lattimore.
Was not a good decision.
No,
I mean, Buddy, they're red laser in that motherfucker every film session. I mean, they're coming to get him. I mean, so, but I mean, they're looking to get young through the draft on defense. Yeah. But I think when you have a quarterback that you believe in, you have to solidify that blindside position. And like I said, it's very reminiscent to me of Trent Williams. Laramie Tunsil did play hurt a lot last year. And I think that contributed to, the penalties. I mean, he's a bookend tackle for sure. I mean, this is a dude, again, his rookie year, he would have definitely went number 1 overall had it not been for, him smoking gas.
The gas mask incident.
But, I mean, he definitely a dog. And like another guy for Detroit was DJ Reed. Nickels are they're not talked about, man. But I love DJ Reed going to Detroit as well.
That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. But I'm still stuck on Tunsil. We'll see what happens. We should see. So I'm not. I was doing good. I wasn't gonna mention none of our signings that's impressive. Let y'all go ahead and run with it. But yeah, I think we got the steal in Hassan Reddick. We'll see though. We definitely will see. I think so. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I think he might do well in y'all schemes, but I don't know how much he got, man. Because last year I didn't see a whole lot.
So
Prove
Corey,
deals. Go ahead.
And let me circle back on something because Will just actually said he ain't talking about this shit. He didn't want to talk about Sam Darnold.
Donald. Yeah.
At
Because he's
all,
scared.
man. At all.
While they both rebuilding. They both rebuilding.
He didn't want to touch on that though. But I'm just curious to know, man, like, looking at Sam Darnold's body of work, why do you think, man? I think it was bad move. But why do you think that they gave him $100 million contract based off one season? This is his 5th NFL team, man. He played with the Jets, 45 touchdowns, 39 interceptions. Then he went to Carolina for 2 seasons, 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, was throwing for 3,670 yards. Didn't do shit in San Francisco. Had a great season in the beginning, actually pretty much the whole season in Minnesota. Do you think that warrant $100 million contract? And how is Seattle going to fare? Everybody else besides Will, since he doesn't want to talk about it.
I'll talk about it. I think how you gonna go out and sign a quarterback for all that money, trade the receiver, get rid of Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and I like Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think he's a great receiver. But this is a problem that every team has. You got one dude. You need about 3 dudes out there and a running back and a tight end. You can't go get a Sam Darnold and then deplete the team of the weapons. Why are we talking about Sam Darnold? I mean, if they had DK, they got the tight end. They go out here and they keep it Walker at running back. They got the defense. This team got so many different issues. They don't even take themselves seriously when you go out and make a move like getting Sam Darnold. This is a team that should, if they were, again, what's the gap between Geno Smith and Sam Darnold? What's the gap?
I guess we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out this year. They have faith in him. So
they the same guy.
Same guy.
One
is
black,
Purdy
one
the
white.
same guy? What about Purdy? What about Purdy? Is he gonna get paid? Oh,
yes.
You mean the dog,
Ivory
the dog
now.
off the Taco Bell commercial?
You starting to sound like Ivory now, Will.
You
The
said,
dog off the
is
Taco
he
Bell
gonna get paid?
commercial, the ones that Mike Vick was having fight.
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you something. Why shouldn't he get paid? Dak Prescott got paid. Trevor Lawrence got paid. Tua Tagovailoa got 16 concussions. He got paid. Jordan Love had 1 good season. He got paid.
Touche.
Yeah.
You think I'm
It's
going in there and asking? I done beat Dak Prescott twice. You think I'm asking for less money? What are we talking about? Trevor Lawrence.
Daniel Jones got paid.
Trevor Lawrence. Bro, run me my money. Run me my money. I'm trying to be the next tax bracket.
Trying to be the next tax bracket.
That's it.
Oh Lord.
What we talking?
Well, hey, fellas, appreciate y'all joining in, man. It was a good show. Like, subscribe, and follow. Check us out during the season, man. Appreciate y'all. We out.